Hey, what is up guys? It is your boy Sweet here, and today we're going to be looking at the new Enigma player, ILTW, on his Troll Warlord. This was a game against Liquid where he absolutely popped off. I'd like to talk about why, and why his Troll Warlord is so dang consistent. Alright, but without further ado, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'd also like to let you guys know that I just made a full-length replay review of a Terrorblade game I played over on the gameleap website. It's not going to come to YouTube, so if you're interested in content like that, really, you guys know I try to give you the best information, and I do really believe in gameleap, especially the videos I've been making as of late are very high quality, in-depth, educational content that, you know, it's a lot of fun to watch, and it's going to help you get to the next level. It's going to help you gain rank. Alright, let's get into the video. So to start off the game, they're going to be running up this hill. This is very important as Troll Warlord for a couple reasons. Your hero really likes these type of brawls, as he has an AoE slow that really griefs the enemy team and does a lot of damage. He can poke from really far away, and he's got a Tusk on his team, so the Tusk has two options, right? You can take Tag Team and just explode someone if his team is around him, or you can take Shards and guarantee a kill onto a hero like Warlock if they happen to be a little bit of distance away, and that's exactly what they do, and that allows them to pick up a nice first blood onto Insania. So first, let's talk about his item build, because I think a lot of people would look at this game and see the UV and they'd say, oh, that means every time I play Troll Warlord against Pango, I should buy UV. No, you definitely shouldn't do that. In fact, if you do buy UV against Pango, and you don't have an Abaddon, or a Warlock, you're probably just gonna die. Troll Warlord is a hero that wins lanes. He's a hero that trades incredibly well. You can see in this instance against Taiga, he can constantly harass him with UV and apply the melee slow. A quick tip here is that when you are playing Troll Warlord, if you throw the action ranged form and then switch to melee before it hits them, it will actually apply the melee slow. Pretty nuts, right? And yeah, that's exactly what it does here, which is why Taiga gets slowed by so much, and you can see him doing it every single time, switching back to melee in between hits, chasing the Mirana down, and yeah, Mirana's probably surprised at how much he's actually getting slowed by. But getting back to my point about the Troll and the Abaddon, you really, and I really mean this, you cannot afford to buy only 3 Tangos if you don't have a Warlock or an Abaddon. Because if you do that, what's gonna happen? You're gonna actually lose your ability to trade. If you pick a hero like Troll Warlord, and you're not chipping enemies down and kicking them out of lane from time to time, I'm not saying you gotta win every lane and crush every matchup and be a perfect player, but if you're not ever having those things happen, you play quite a bit of Troll or Jug or Slark, you're not putting pressure and you're not kicking them out of the lane, you're not 2 levels up by minute 10, something of the sort, you're not playing your hero correct, and you need regen to do that. So just understand the reason why he does that this game. I think a lot of people might get it wrong and then, yeah, grief themselves. Okay, so the next thing I want to go over is a very important, piece of knowledge for carry players. I get asked this question a lot. Speed, when should I hold my lane back and deny the enemy of XP? And when should I shove it in and farm, right? How do you know the answer to this question? Well, in my opinion, there's one main piece of advice that has helped me determine this. So, can he zone the Mirana? That's the first question I'd ask, because Pango, seems like the Pango has already left the lane. After this little sequence, you'll see here that the Pango is going to leave. He's going to be 1v1 against Mirana or 1v1 against Pango. Can he pressure really either of those heroes in a 1v1 scenario? The answer is sort of yes, but not enough to the point to justify it. And that's the key, really. A lot of you probably just said no to zone them. Yeah, he could, right? He could, but not enough. Not enough. It's not like some Slark where you're level 6 and you're against a level 4 Tidehunter and that guy can't get a single creep. That's wonderful. But this is clearly not that case. Pango has his Q, right? Troll hates the Q, he hates the disarm, and he would kind of just get annoyed by this over time. So instead, you'll see here at the 7-minute mark, very clearly at the 7-minute mark, where he can start getting neutrals, he'll look to farm these camps, and this is exactly what you want to do. So, that's the number one piece of advice, right? Can you zone your opponent or not? That's the first thing you should think about. If you can't, just shove the lane and farm. If you can, well, if you think you can kill them and it's not going to cost you a lot, go for it, right? But if you can't kill them, just don't bother, right? You're better off maximizing your own farm, especially, and this is the key, if it's for neutral items. Neutral items are incredibly underrated by most players, or not focused on, I guess, is the better words I should be using. They do not focus on neutral items, but you can see immediately at minute 8, he just gets +6 stats. And you have to imagine how good that actually is. It's like 1,000 gold. The next thing I'd like to cover is a lane swap by ILTW. Lane swapping is, yeah, it's very confusing. It's hard to know when to do. So let's see why he does it here. As you can see, he just TP's top. It seems kind of random, right? It's like, only the PA is showing. That's literally all I see. Why would I TP? Well, guys, try to answer this. Try to answer in your head before I give you the answer. Why? Why even bother TPing in this case? The reason why is because he doesn't know where Sand King is. He has no clue where Sand King is. He doesn't know if Sand King is close to Dagger or not. Turns out Sand King is really close to Dagger. And he also knows Pango is level 6. And so if Pango and Sand King go bottom, or even just Sand King Mirana, he will die. And so this is what makes a good Dota player. You have to think of these things ahead of time. You have to dodge the bad lanes ahead of time. You can't say, oh, yeah, this is a hard matchup. I died once. I'm moving on. You know, some games that's going to happen. Of course you're going to die. But nice. He makes this good rotation. He avoids a potential death to the Sand King Pango lane, which, in my opinion, inevitably would have ganked him. I really do believe that in the bottom lane if he stayed for too long. So he completely avoids that, makes some stacks, nearly takes the tower, and moves on. Super clean gameplay and super sensical gameplay that I'm a big fan of. Funny enough, this death, you know, really, this death basically sums up. It really does. It totally sums up exactly what I was talking about here. But, you know, this goes to show how well these pro players know these matchups. They go to show how well these players know whether or not they can die to a +1 or a combination of heroes. Same thing from Liquid. They know what they need. Sand King can't solo kill Troll. At least it would be hard. Neither can Pango. It'd be hard. But together, it's not a problem at all, and that's exactly what we see. It's an easy kill. Really funny, but good perspective on showing you guys that, yes, he will die to those heroes if they go on him, right? He will definitely die. And so it's good that he got out in the first place, but got caught a little bit out of position on the back half. Now, in this game in particular, he's once again going to be farming the deep jungle. Why would he farm the deep jungle like this? The reason is because, once again, he didn't see where the Sand King or the Mirana was at the time. Now, you'll see once he sees them, he actually is going to shift over and consider helping. Now, the fight obviously goes extremely poorly, so that doesn't really go through. But he made his way over to the Ancient Camp as well. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about what he does with this Aegis. So first things first, so you guys have a bit of context, yes, he did just use the Aegis to take the mid tier 2. The enemy team doesn't really have a good way of getting him off the tower. They can poke him a little bit, but it's simply not enough, especially with an Abaddon behind you. Things like Mirana Arrow, Fatal Bonds, they're just not going to do much. Even Disarm from Pango isn't going to do much. But let's see what he does with this Aegis. So his team is obviously hunting. They're doing quite well. 2k ahead. Not a stomp, right? Not a stomp by any means. But look at his posturing. Very crucial, right? Whenever you get Aegis, yeah, you can farm your deep jungle. You can farm the safe jungle. But lane creeps as the game gets later and later, you know, become worth more. And so it's really important that you get yourself deep on the map, because the key to Aegis is really this, okay? If you get gone on and die, the key to Aegis is basically like playing Wraith King or an Initiator, except, well, with 2 lives, you know, compared to the Initiator. And the key is that you die in a position where your team can help you. So you notice every time, well, when we just watched him running around with that Aegis, he was not going that far away. For instance, if his team was pushing top, you're not going to see him running up the bottom triangle. He's frankly just going to die and probably die twice, and that wouldn't be too good. So instead, he did what he did, and now he's just going to farm his BKB. I love this. I really do believe that carry players just get, you know, you get flamed so much in pubs for not just showing up to everything. For instance, like, I don't even know why he showed up here. Like, I'm going to be really real with y'all. It is not his time, right? It is not his time. It's just not Troll Warlord's time to go. Right? He's farming up these Ancients. He's trying to get a BKB, which, yeah, he does have on Courier, but it's on Courier. So he can't even actually kill them here. And so, yeah, he ends up farming the mid wave. That's great. Defends the mid tower. But, yeah, just don't feel bad about hitting that extra camp, right? You need to get these timings. It's very, very crucial that as a carry player, you tell your team, you dictate to your team what you need done, what needs to happen around the map in order to get you a lot of farm, or for you to hit your timings, and that can be as simple as hitting Aegis. Even here, you notice he's going to shred through the jungle, right, pushing all the camps up to the top wave, really nice efficiency, down to the jungle camp, and back to the Ancients. It's 24 minutes into the game, and he's still farming back to his own side of the map. And this is contrary to a lot of the beliefs in Dota, which is if you're not constantly going forward, you're bad at the game. That's simply not true. In this meta, right, where it's actually, I don't know, so easy to buy sentries and so easy to buy wards, you're always going to get dewarded, especially in these top games. You're not going to have the best of vision, right? You can't just sit on the enemy side of the map. That can be very dangerous when his team is pushing in other lanes as well. And so it's okay to jungle. If your hero has later timings, your team is just chilling, hitting some neutrals, maybe sitting next to their tower, do not be afraid to hit camps. People will flame you, but you just got to move past it. Next up, let's talk about when to use Battle Trance. This is one of the most confusing spells in Dota. That's Troll's ulti, the one that gives him a bunch of lifesteal, attack speed, and movement speed. It's really bizarre, really easy to kite without BKB, and frankly, most of the time when you cast a spell in the early game, it just gets you killed. So, let's talk about the different cases in which you use it and when you use it. In the early game, you're typically going to use Battle Trance to keep yourself alive, so you're going to use it last second. Late game, especially when you have Aegis, but most importantly when you have BKB, you can use your BKB and your ultimate to kill people, right? Because at that point, you do enough damage to actually burst people and can't be kited. And so, yeah, in my opinion, this is the correct response. And you can see the PA goes in. He knows this is the high value target. He's got an MKB. And so he's going to absolutely shred the enemy team. Unfortunately, the PA barely gets away. I think that does the Pango live too? No, Pango dies. But you can see the difference there. So, in your team fights, if a hero like Terrorblade or Jug jumps in, and you got a Basher, an MKB, and a BKB, just go on them, right? Don't be afraid to pop all your buttons. Troll needs to burst people early into the fight, otherwise this hero can largely feel very useless. Alright, and as we finish this matchup, let's see what he does. Cutting the bottom wave, pretty standard stuff, but very effective. You can notice there was already a wave bottom, but he completely ignored it. Now you can see this Aegis positioning coming into play with no Sand King. He doesn't have much of a threat of dying. Pango can be annoying, but annoying at best. Not really too much of a problem, at least to killing him. He can be, you know, annoying for taking the racks, but nothing too bad. And eventually, they're just going to siege with the Aegis. They got really, really good timings. The enemy team continues to commit onto ILDW when it's simply not enough. And yeah, that BKB was definitely not the best. Next, let's take a look at a fight that happens when he has no BKB and pay attention to how he casts his spells, who he auto-attacks, but most importantly, when he ultis. So he's obviously going to get Abaddon healed here. No need to ulti yet. His team's doing quite well. They do got the God upheaval going on here as GH falls. You notice no ulti, no ulti, no ulti, continuing to hold it, continuing to kite it, right? And only here, once his BKB comes up, does he pop it and absolutely shred this PA. And that, my folks, is exactly what you want to be looking for to become broken on Troll Warlord. But I mean that. If the beginning of the fight starts and you click Battle Trance without BKB and you get disarmed, you're not going to feel too good about playing this hero. However, if you have patience, bait the enemy team into you, and close the gap on the key targets like a hero like Phantom Assassin in this game, when you have MKB, you're going to do pretty freaking well. Alright, but I hope those general and troll-specific tips helped you guys out. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace. And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the gameleap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.